So one of the guys that I met at Rampage, we were talking about, even if it's teaching your kids how to fly and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
So one of the guys that was at Rampage, he's a cool guy. He's on Instagram, Intent to be Human. I don't know. Well,
Yeah, yeah. I think I've seen him.
yeah. Anyways, he does some FPV, some cool stuff with FPV, and he recently tagged me and sent me a video where his son, his first FPV flight, like his little boy was at Rampage, and I played Nerf darts with him.
Oh,
Like
awesome.
I shot him a bunch, and we had a little bit of a Nerf battle, and it was cool. And since then, I've chatted with him a little bit. And the dad rode my electric skateboard, so we kind of hung out there. And since then, he just sent me this week. His son did his first flight, and he was ripping it, doing split S's and all
awesome.
this stuff. Yeah, just
Cool.
he
That's
can't
so
be
great.
much older than your boys.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
need.
like
I'm
7
kind
or
of
8.
slacking. I need to get my kids up on it. I know at least one of Michael definitely wants to be up on drones.
Yeah.
He's drawn me a few pictures. And,
Oh yeah.
yeah, one of the pictures, it's a picture of if I can find it, I'll put it up, splice it into the video here. But one of them, it's a really awesome drawing of a drone, and underneath it says, "Dad is awesome."
That's
Nice.
sweet.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know what you want, kid, but
That's awesome.
I can deal with that.
Yeah.
I dig it. So, all right. So we know that we had a lot of fun over at Rampage, and actually, that was one of the things I was thinking about was you had to work your butt off while you were there. Did you have fun while you were there?
I had a blast there, but that was one of the things, okay, everybody that put that on, everybody worked their butt off
Totally.
across the board. Even, my man Tidwell volunteering, working his butt off over there, and Mike
Yeah.
as well. So,
Everybody that volunteered, it was a group effort. you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So everybody put in, it helped. It was
Yeah.
helpful.
yeah, I mean, I was definitely hustling, but it was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I had fun too. It was a great
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it was.
Definitely want to do it again.
Yeah, it was really well done. I was excited because it felt like it was appropriate for the community. Like it was exactly what the community needs.
Well, next time the check-in's going to be longer because we got to implement VTX check-in.
Oh yeah, somehow we got.
Was it bad?
Well, some of those guys just didn't know what channel they were on or how to change to the right channel.
We definitely
I mean?
have that at quad camps. That's like,
I get it all the time when I meet new guys.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
And it's fine if it's one person.
yeah,
I've been using TVS Unifies for so long that I don't know all the new VTXs, but I do know that if I ask a new dude what his VTX is, if he actually knows what it is, I can Google it
yeah.
and figure out how to put him on a channel that ain't gonna shoot everybody down.
Right.
So I do that a lot, man. I learn about VTXs.
Dude, that's when we
A
do
lot.
quad camp events. We got one coming up. I don't know when this will be out, but next weekend in Hesperia, California, and the first thing we do is like, who here has never flown with anybody else? And like,
That's a really good question.
I don't even bother with like, do you know how to change it? Because there's some people that, maybe they don't want to admit that they haven't
Right.
Yeah.
messed with the
right.
gear that much. Who knows? But if you ask that question, like, who hasn't flown with anybody before, then it's really clear right away. Like, this guy probably needs a little bit of guidance because he's probably just gotten his goggles and put it on auto search.
Yeah.
Because
found
he's
his
like,
channel,
he's the
yeah.
only one,
What
and
channel
like,
you on? The one that works.
yeah,
What
exactly.
are you talking about? What channel you on?
So and spend a little bit of time because most of the time they've got pretty decent gear that we're working with at quad camp,
Right,
like a
right.
tramp or a Unify. It's
Right.
like, all right, now you need to
And the
make sure
gear
that this
does
is
make it
wired.
easier. Good
Yeah,
gear makes it
because
easier.
then it's not like, okay, let me teach you how to press the button a bunch of times. It's like,
Right.
bro, let me show you how to use the equipment you got.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
let's
Make
turn
sure
on
this
the
wire soldered to here.
make
and-
sure the OSD's working,
Yeah.
and make sure that smart audio or tramp telemetry, whichever it is that you need, is wired up and properly controlling it. So you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do this now. Boom, done.
And it's easy.
Yep,
dude.
and
Yeah.
there's nothing to be
It's
ashamed
simple.
of. But if somebody doesn't know how to
No.
do that simple stuff, because
No,
they've
not at
never
all.
had to.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like, you guys are super lucky, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have that back in the day. It sucked.
Oh, yeah.
When I started, I had to count flashes of light on the silly
my
thing, and
goodness,
it was
yeah.
like I was that 3 or 4. I don't know. I gotta look again.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
Technology is way better, and if you need a little help getting it like it needs to be, absolutely get the help, man. Like,
Yeah, people will help you.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Because
Oh, yeah.
then, like, okay, my buddy Dan said it the other day. He's like, TBS and Tramp, that's for your buddies, man.
It's true. It's true.
TBS for your friends, man. Like,
It's not for you.
like
it's for
you
your
can
friends.
get good video with anything.
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
your
Totally.
flying buddies might,
You know,
might not.
That was what we always said of Boss Cam back in the day with Wild Willie. Like when we first all started flying, like, yeah,
He was on
you can
all
use
things.
that Boss Cam, whatever it is, piece of crap, and you're gonna have a fine day. We're all gonna have a really bad day.
Yeah. We're
'Cause
all getting shot
you're
down.
you're literally on 4 channels at the same time.
The best thing that ever
geez.
happened to the FPV reception in Atlanta was Nick getting sponsored by Lumineer. That's all I gotta say.
Awesome.
Shots fired.
That's awesome.
He knows it's true.
It's probably true. He would
Well,
probably admit it if he was here.
I held out on getting my first Unify because I knew like it's $50, and once I get one, I'm not gonna want I gotta buy one for every drone.
Dude, but that's the thing. My VTXs and my receivers, they're just always floating around. Like I happened to put a new one into rotation today. But I also know that I got one that's floating around my bag that's probably still good. I got one that's on my desk that's probably still good. If I just slap it in something, it's going to
Gotcha.
get good video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If you buy quality things, those and the same thing goes for my Crossfire receivers. I've bought more than I should have because I've got them on all my dead drones. But
Dang. See, I need more. I'm still running FR Sky on some stuff and Crossfire on others, so I need more Crossfire receivers. But
yeah, especially with those micro ones, they're so small you can like put that on anything.
they're tiny. The Nano, I finally put one of those on something, and I was like, dang, this is tiny.
So on Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving, they let out of work just a little bit early, and so I talked to my boss. I said, hey, and his wife also works at our office. It's a small office, and said, hey, if you want, I got all my gear with me. We can go out in the parking lot, and I can give you a little ride.
Dang, you ripped the parking lot.
I ripped the parking lot, and so he and his wife put on my spare goggles. I have 2 sets.
So Kevin's made a video out there before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the circle of trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
And
it.
so I got him hooked up, and it was really funny because he had his nice car out there in the parking lot, and he'll laugh if he's watching this. But every time I'd like drive by it going about Mach 5, he'd be like, "Don't get too close to the car." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay, I got it." You know, 'cause basically, I did the normal thing that you do when you haven't flown for a few days, and you just kind of like go out and you kind of shake it down real quick, do a quick power loop, make sure everything feels good, make sure the video feels good, make sure it's controlling and responding well, and then suddenly I was like, all right, let's start doing some fun stuff. So I did a little bit of stuff. I didn't go real hard with it because it was my 6-inch monster.
Oh my God, you freaking flew that thing out there?
Yeah.
Jeez, your boss thinks you're a madman.
It was great. I didn't
That's
have the bi-blades
awesome.
on it though, so it wasn't that loud.
But it's still, dude, that thing is freaking evil.
Well, no wonder he was like, "Don't get too close to the car."
Right?
It sounds like an animal coming at you. Wow.
Yeah. So I ran a battery on it, and
That's
I
awesome.
was
You
like,
ran
okay.
5-cell on it
I
too?
ran 5-cell.
I'm still on one of your
Damn.
mints.
Go for it. That's what they're there for. It's guesstimates.
Guesstimates,
Guesstimates.
like a testament.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I can't believe that. Now your boss is gonna think you're crazy.
Well, the funny thing is, so I told him about the channel, like, after a few weeks I was there, and he's like, "Oh, that sounds interesting," and he's like, "What's the name of it?" And he said, "Okay, cool, I'm gonna subscribe." So he subscribed to the channel. He's one of
Thanks
the.
for subscribing,
Yeah.
Jeff's boss.
That's right.
Yay.
Yeah, I won't call him out. I don't know if he wants me to call him out on it, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching, man.
yeah, definitely. And
And if you don't watch, thanks for subscribing anyway.
it's nice, It's a good sentiment at least, right?
Yeah, every subscriber counts.
But you know, the let's see here. What's the next thing that we should do?
Bad B in
It's
5-cell.
you know, and I have some of the bullnose glass nylons. I found I think Shelton had some.
That thing is just sick, dude. It's got 2208s on it, Kevin.
2208,
Oh, yeah, I know.
2350s.
I have totally heard that thing scream around the spot many a time.
You witnessed the
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's witnessed it,
the unleashing of the
and
devil.
it's not
I think
not practical. It's not, you know, built for anything fancy. It's just built to be loud and scary.
And it succeeded.
It's
Especially
awesome.
that one time when I guess put a prop on backwards and and steel was there too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so I like armed it and I started to throttle up and it like lifted up, but it was completely out of control. So I immediately disarmed it and it like skidded to a halt like 10 feet from steel. And he was like looking at me like all judging. I was like, well, you know, stuff happens sometimes.
Is it Betaflight on that?
Yeah.
How old is it if it doesn't have anti-Taz?
It is a little bit old.
Yeah, we haven't updated it.
Yeah.
But it was
I
flying pretty good. We should update it.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll have an update for that and do a little video.
It won't take long.
Yep.
I can flash it and configure it in just a couple of minutes, dude.
He'll put you on that 4.0 goodness.
Right?
If you want, yeah, we can try it out. I haven't tried 6-inch on it, so
It might be really good.
It'll be a learning experience.
It might be
for me.
really good.
It might be headaches, and we'll be like,
Have you done 6-inch before, Tidwell?
Yeah, I have never really had a lot of good luck with 6-inch, but 5.5-inch props like take all the freaking headaches of 6-inch for me away.
Ooh, I might have to try a 5.5-inch prop setup with.
It's got all that freaking torque and floaty
Mm-hmm.
because 6-inch carries for days.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just blip the throttle and then you're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You just keep going.
If you're heavy-handed like me, it just floats
But
forever.
it's got a lot of like 6-inch props. They have jello. It's like the way the
It's just way-
frequencies work. I think 7-inch is not as bad.
Really?
Is
Huh.
What I seem to be reading and hearing. I don't know. If
Yeah, but
it's
7-inch
true.
isn't as responsive.
Right.
It's like
'Cause
much
it's
less
It's
responsive.
a very heavy prop.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it takes a while to spin up, so it's not like, I don't know. A
But-
5-inch is that just sweet spot where it's like a
I really like 5-inch.
Ferrari.
Yeah. And then the 5.5-inch props, dude, they're fun to fly. I mean, I say try it if you get a chance.
Nice.
Cool.
I say they're worth a try.
So
for
do we
sure.
want to do a little
Are we
show
gonna
and
watch
tell?
this crazy thing they keep recommending every time I turn on YouTube?
Yeah,
it's
so-
like you need to watch this.
Yeah, Kevin was mentioning this, and so I was like,
Well, I just saw it was recommended for you, and I had seen it recommended to me
It was
earlier,
recommended
but
to me
I
too.
didn't. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I'm gonna watch that later.
so let's see.
So let's watch
Is
it.
anybody else seeing this? Recommended to
Look
them?
at what they got going
Look at
on
what they got
here.
going on here. What is this? I have no idea what this is. This is bizarre.
Now I want to know what they're controlling. Is it
Well,
like?
it looks like they're doing spectrum, so it's.
But
team
no. I
failsafe.
mean, like, how is it being controlled? Is it
Right.
differential thrust?
That's a really good question.
It's got to be just differential thrust.
So the right side goes faster if they want it to turn.
Yeah,
To the
and
left.
so that just gives you a yawing momentum, which will then cause that side to go a little faster, make it lift a little bit. It's like you can fly planes with this just differential thrust, and then
Wow.
if you give it more power, it'll start to climb, and if you give it less, if it's just trim for a speed,
Gotcha.
Wow. All right, let's
Okay,
watch
let's see
a
what
let's yeah
happens
let's see
here.
let's watch just a little bit of this.
Because this is crazy looking.
Tri blades on them.
Dang, look at it.
Whoa!
It's like
Floppy
It's
it's
pigeon.
waving.
It's
like-
a floppy pigeon.
it's like.
Oh yeah, that's definitely differential thrust.
Dang.
They got a mini quad out there.
You can tell it's just like
It looks
yawing
like it's
right
a
around.
small. They're small airplanes.
Yeah.
They're not that big.
Here we go.
Wow. What would happen if he hit?
It would like explode.
Like, what if it's split in half?
Oh, I wonder if he could control it if it's split in half. That would be funny.
Which half?
Don't
Please
hit
don't
me.
hit me.
Don't hit me.
Which
What are
half
you
did he
talking
get to
about? Yeah,
control?
That guy has no clue what FPV is.
right.
Yeah,
Like,
I can
don't hit
tell.
me. Like, that's amazing.
Dude, it's wobbly.
It's very wobbly. That's the wobbliest airplane ever. Oh my gosh.
So wait, there's 9.
Yeah, there's like.
Not as stable as I'd hoped for.
I guess that's a statement, right? He's doing the wave.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's still in the sky. Let's do it.
I'm not sure how this is practical.
Oh, it might. I think it does have little elevators on each tail, so you could kind of.
They're in Wild West territory as far
Dude.
as RC is concerned.
Whoa!
Auto level?
Yeah, it sounds like they got some kind of flight controller controlling things.
Okay. I don't know much about planes. Huh.
I wish they were telling us more about this setup.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, what are they using for this?
See here,
full
do
auto
they talk about it? Is it just them flying for 12 minutes? Well, it looks like he lands. You want to see what happens when he tries
Oh,
to
yes.
land it?
Let's cut to the end.
All right.
This is not going to end well.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
because you don't have the prop wash across your.
Oh man. Oh man. He might pull it off. Oof. Whoa!
Oof.
Oh,
Oh, oofed.
That wasn't too bad though.
Not too bad.
No.
I
That
was
could have been a lot
expecting, like,
worse.
Tumbling.
yeah.
Wow. Tri-blades, huh?
They look like they've got some pretty decent pitch on them too.
Yeah, they do. Cool. So I guess who's this guy? It's W. Colby. He's got 23,000 subscribers. Go ahead and subscribe to him if you like that. But that was crazy.
That was pretty wild, but I don't think I'll be subscribing.
Randy St. Clair Flex 9. I guess I know what the 9 stands for.
Yeah.
9 airplanes. That's amazing.
I was really hoping for more catastrophic landing.
You know, that would have been cool. Flight test. I guess Alex
Awesome
likes
as
them.
usual.
Yeah, I don't know as much. Hey, you ever watch Brave Wilderness?
Peter, I love Peter. Peter's like, take it to the next level. That was awesome. Now do 100.
That's how he does it.
He does,
That's
man.
awesome.
Peter is the man.
I love Peter. He's so funny. He's like doing the craziest stuff that you could have ever possibly dreamed of in a fever.
Yeah, he recently. Did you see the thing he did where he took a leaf blower and made it power a RC plane?
I did see that.
I
didn't watch it.
He was.
yet.
I watched it. It was great, by the way.
Awesome.
And he was like,
I'll
if you
watch
guys have ideas of things you want to see me make fly. And I had recently seen an ad on Instagram where they were like, we take the. Oh my gosh, they take what is it's a kind of a jigsaw. They take a jigsaw and they put a thing on it that's like a massage thing, and you massage yourself with the jigsaw because they're like, it's super cheap and you can do this, and then you put the nice thing and use it. And I was like, ooh, he could do something with a jigsaw. And I was like, make an ornithopter out of a jigsaw. So you use It's just
Oh,
pumping back and
wow.
forth, so it could work a set of wings that are flapping.
That sounds pretty awesome.
I would love to see Peter
they
pull
have
that off.
battery-powered jigsaws too.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
They're kind of heavy though.
Well, I mean, you gotta lighten it up.
I guess so. I guess you might be able to put a smaller battery in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the battery, I mean, they're like 18-volt batteries, but they're designed to run all day.
Yeah, but if it's if you're building a craft like with little wings, like you're gonna run a 1800 or a 1300 or whatever
Right.
battery you want,
Yeah.
because you're gonna have servos to make it. I mean, it's not gonna just if you have just the jigsaw, it might just fly. But then how do you direct it?
Well, if you build it so that it's like a really fast, like flap its wings really fast, and then when you shut off, it locks into a position to glide. You could have like a little sprinter darter of a thing where it's
Okay,
just like,
so you just-
brrr, and then you're just like gliding,
It's
and
like
then
throttle on
gliding.
the switch. Throttle on the
Yeah.
switch.
Dude, that was a lot of fun, and actually not as terrifying as I thought it was going to be when we did that episode.
It seems like fun.
Yeah.
What's that?
Throttle on a switch.
Oh,
See,
wow.
So basically, the momentary switch on my Tyrannus, I just mapped it so that the throttle stick didn't do anything. It's
Oh,
just
wow.
at idle, unless you pull the momentary. And when you pull the momentary,
It goes to
it drives
100%.
throttle to full
So you're just
throttle.
blipping it.
So yeah, you're just feathering it. So it's like,
Morse, Morse code.
yeah, totally Morse code. It's
Kind of.
it's-
Do you think it's hard on the motor?
You know.
probably.
I think worse for the battery than.
Oh yeah,
any
God,
other-
yeah.
any other
Like
part on the
I was able to
car.
do power loops and hit gaps and did a roll through a gap and
That's awesome. That was a good video. I watched that video.
Wow. I shamefully missed it.
that's
With
all
you
right. I'll
here-
He
forgive
was too
it.
busy watching Tidwell videos.
I'll forgive it.
Thou art forgiven. So like,
Oh my God, I know what I gotta get.
Huh.
So
What is it? Tell us all
for
about it.
for next week, I am flying to California. We're going to be doing drone camp. Good
Quad
Lord.
camp.
Quad camp. Quad camp X Hover.
I've been involved in quad camp.
Yes,
a couple times,
yeah,
and it's
totally.
super
it was fun. We
In
I had a
Atlanta.
I had a blast.
Yeah, I can't wait to do another one in the Southeast again. We should be doing one. We're working on exact dates and everything, but aiming to do something in Florida in the first quarter-ish,
Okay.
give or take.
Because it'll still be cold, dude.
Yeah,
Florida be a
exactly. And
Florida
you know,
be
we're
a place to
kind
be.
of drawing back the number of events that we're gonna have. We're probably only gonna do maybe 4 a year or something.
Gotcha.
Let's say 4 to 6 a year, just ballparking it. Instead of trying to do every single month, we've got the Quad Camp online for the ongoing everything. But anyways, flying out to California, gonna go straight to Pyro Flip RC, and I'm gonna
Dude.
get one of those nighttime cameras.
Cool.
I just remembered that I've got my Part 107, and we have the place that we're staying at is basically an Airbnb on top of a mountain, right?
Cool.
Wow.
Sounds awesome.
I mean, they're not huge peaks, but it's north of Hesperia, and there's these mountains, for lack of a better term, and we have one in the backyard that's like a couple 100-foot hike up, and then there's a fire pit, and so I want to go and hang out at the fire pit for my birthday, and build a big fire in there. And I just got my Part 107 nighttime waiver from the FAA.
How long is
So-
it? How long is it? Like, is it just like a day? Or?
It's good until 2022.
Dang.
Dude, you're
Like-
hey, now you have no excuse when I'm like, hey, bro, I'm going to the night spot. Come rip.
Totally.
You're like, your out is gone now. Like, you just have to be honest and be like, dude, I don't feel like flying with you.
Well, it's different now too, because in the past, going to the night spot meant, all right, I'm gonna risk everything that I got.
Yeah,
Which,
I understand
if-
that.
Man,
just
I
a
know that this
hobbyist.
sounds like such a bitchy thing to do, but like I can't use the footage,
Right.
so I'm not really adding to any value anywhere. And if I crash, it's still like, yeah, it might not cost me a ton of money out of pocket because I've got spares and everything. I'm very lucky in that sense, but it costs me time,
Right.
and time is not
Time
something
is
that I have a
money.
ton of.
I know that's accurate.
And so I tend to just wuss out and be like, I can't go risk everything for just the possibility of costing me time. Because the last time that I went and flew with you, what freaking happened? Like the first battery, I nailed a freaking light post.
But dude, you were freaking ripping hard.
I
Dude,
was.
He was tearing the night spot up. Y'all. I'm telling you, that shit was epic.
And that's what happened is I was ripping it really hard, and I came over a tree, come under it on a split S, and I was going so fast, and it was just like, oh crap, that's a light pole. Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I? Too late.
And I'm over there flying my drone like, dude, that didn't sound too good. I know that sound. That was pretty solid.
Yeah, and the worst part was it completely killed the GoPro. The file was gone. Ooh. And the FPV camera was dead. The DVR did not record, so I didn't even have DVR record of it. It was just like that never happened.
All for naught.
And I broke like a top plate and a bottom plate, and you know, like so. I full rebuild. It's just like, all right, junked and $50 at Best Buy, and not even the footage to say it happened. Let alone I couldn't even like post it.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, like, but now I can fly at night. I got strobe lights that I ordered. I got the oh man, you know what? I'm gonna open up my phone and look. It's the Arc 2 is the model name, but I can't remember.
Did you order it on Amazon?
I ordered it on Amazon. They're like $40 a pop, but I wanted to go with something that's legit. Like to go. Like, hey, we've tested this. It's visible for 3 miles. You're good. It meets part 107 dot everything. Let's see. It is the, where's the name of it? Firehouse Technology, Arc 2, 4 strobe, high intensity, Cree light. They say that it's fully compliant, and it's one of the few that are recommended on this aviation lawyers blog thing, who has a lot of really good information as well about all this. And
so it's like this guy here?
Yeah, I can't wait because I think I'm actually excited about it. People are like, man, you're going to put a dumb light on your drone. I'm like, let me tell you something, how cool this is going to be. I'm going to have this badass strobe. So when you got your daytime cruising the ground really close to where you get like the shadow of the quad. Well, I'm going to be getting the LED flashes, or, maybe make one on the bottom that's constant and one on the top that's flashing. So I'm meeting all of my,
it looks kind of bright.
Part 107 stuff. And I'm going to have awesome lights when I get really low to the ground, right?
Cool.
That's really neat.
So now I want to get one.
It has its own battery too.
I've got the white one, and depending on how much lighting it does.
Look at that.
Holy cats! That's really bright.
Dang.
I mean, it even has like a reflection on the inner lens.
How long does it take to get? When do you get them?
My next one gets delivered tomorrow. I've got one that's coming to me at home, and I ordered one to me in LA because I wanted to have it before I go to LA. Yeah. And if it didn't get here, because it was like last minute realizing I needed to get these things, so I sent one to X-Hover. So I'll have one out there. The one that I sent to me is going to get here the day before I fly out. So I will.
Awesome.
That's very cool.
Have it for, anywhere that I want to do it. We can do it at night now.
2 hours full charge. Yep. No problem. Now, is that 2 hours of lighting or 2 hours to charge? Oh, 6+ hour runtime.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Cool.
Very nice. I can read.
Good reading.
Yeah, I'm occasionally good for things. All right.
So I'm just gonna put a piece of Velcro on the bottom of my quad and
just strap
and
it
put
there?
that on it. No, just put it on Velcro, so because I don't want to risk it every time I fly, because it's a circuit board and a battery, and it can get smashed like everything else.
You don't necessarily need it in the daytime.
Yeah, exactly. So
cool.
Well, that's really exciting news.
Yeah.
Did it take a long time?
How hard was it to get the waiver?
It was super easy. I did it live on stream in less than an hour, and basically you do the research, and the FAA, or it's dronezone.faa.gov or whatever, and that's where you once you're Part 107 certified, you create an account and it's linked back to you, and you register your drones there, and you can file your applications for waivers, and there's government issued documents that are like, hey, this is how you get the waiver to break this rule. These are the things, these are the concerns. They basically explain to you, look, these are the increased risks. You need to tell us you're going to address those increased risks in these ways. You need to have a recurrent training program where you document that you go over with everybody that's part of the crew the like, what's the right word,
The procedure.
illusions, visual illusions that can
Gotcha.
occur at night, like fixation and some other things. I'm not going to get into like the technical explanation of
Gotcha,
everything,
gotcha.
but you have to document that you've done that every period of, you know, this specific period of
30
time.
days or something.
I forget the exact thing off the top of my head. That's why we're not going to get into the
Gotcha.
specifics.
But
But
you have to do
I
it,
am making
and you
sure
have to-
that
you have
I'm
to-
meeting it to a
Yeah.
T,
Yeah, totally.
including
Absolutely.
getting the lights and everything.
Cool.
So, yeah, you get the idea.
This is all, you know, pretty great stuff because, you know, there's a lot of new legislation that's coming down the pipe within the next probably
Mhm.
year or two.
Yeah,
And so this, you know, making sure that you're ahead of the game, that'll only be beneficial.
yeah. So people are freaking out. It's like, oh man, hobby's only going to be 40 miles an hour. It's like, okay, well, I'm still 100 miles an hour, 87 knots.
Right.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So is there a waiver for that?
There is actually, you can get a waiver for that, but now, as I don't want to, I am not an aviation lawyer. I don't want to speak to anything.
sure.
My nighttime waiver also specifically says like this is not good for in controlled airspace. So like the spots near PDK where I've
Right,
shown how you
right.
get the clearance on one of my YouTube videos, just with the Air Map app, you can be like, yo, look, I'm flying here up to this altitude, and like everything's straight.
It doesn't work the same in controlled airspace.
Yeah,
At night.
exactly.
The waiver is for only-
Exactly. I would like to get some clarification to find out if that is the case, that I can do the controlled airspace at night if I have the authorization, because I kind of can see how it could be read either way, and I'm not a lawyer and I don't want to say what it is.
Right, yeah, and you don't want to find out the hard way either, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. But it's really not hard to do these things
That's awesome.
and get to fly a lot of stuff. That's why I want to get the nighttime camera though, because if it's like full moon and we got the mountain and like the
Oh, that'll be
nighttime,
cool.
like even if the GoPro footage
So wait,
ends up
which
not
camera
working.
is the nighttime camera? Is it a GoPro or is it
No, like the night owl or
Oh,
whatever.
okay,
What
gotcha.
is that? You know what I'm
I think
talking
it is
about?
the night owl. I think
Yeah,
that's
they
the one
they
you-
make like one that's designed to run in moonlight. You know, I've never gotten one because I've
think
never
it
had a
is.
reason to do it.
I think it is the night owl. And somebody had one of those at Brook Run, and it was like black and white, but it was dark. I was like, I took the goggles off, and I was like, God damn, it's dark. I mean, it was dark.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was like ripping around the trees, like split us and
I think Schizo had one, and he had some LED headlights. At one
Yeah,
point.
well,
I remember.
That's
long
the
time
thing
ago.
is that
Yeah.
I could run my red one as my anti-collision, and I could put the white one on the top of the quad as like a headlight.
that's awesome. Cool.
Wow.
That sounds like fun. So
Awesome.
when is that? That's next week, right? You're
Next
leaving
week.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Cool.
Day after tomorrow.
Have fun, bro. I'll miss you.
Yeah, I'm hoping to.
And you're
That's-
going to be there for your birthday?
Yep.
Well,
This
happy birthday.
Friday,
I won't-
thank you.
I won't get to rip with you on your birthday this year. That's okay,
Make sure
man.
somebody buys you a dinner or something.
Mine's coming up in January, so you can maybe rip with me on my birthday.
Nice. Absolutely. Maybe it'll be a nighttime rip.
And then,
Who knows?
Maybe, because you got the waiver now.
That's right. We'll have to have a birthday party for Tidwell over here.
I'm too old for that shit.
No, we'll have like one of those pin the tail on the donkey things.
A rip fest.
Yeah, but it'll be with drones, and there won't be a donkey. It'll just be like
Why
light
do you
poles.
want to have your birthday at an abandoned building?
Is this a
Well,
rave? No.
Because we want to fly our drones.
You know what you ought to do? Oh my god.
What should we do?
Oh,
I have a brilliant idea.
oh.
I think we might have to do this as an episode in California. All right.
Dang, I'm all the time giving y'all episodes.
All right, you let me know later if we need to cut this.
No, it's fine. It'll be fine. I'll call it out and I'll do it in a week. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna take sponges. If you go back to the original when Steel did the sticker
Yep.
Yep.
on the
And he just attached it to a sponge and then.
Yeah, and did it. So instead of that, we do a sponge. And have you ever sponge painted a room?
Yes, I have actually.
Yeah, so you just dip the sponge in a little bit of paint, and then we go
Oh,
to
wow.
a bando somewhere, someplace that's all spray painted up, and it's like the inside of that pea, motherfucker, who can get the closest.
Sounds like fun.
And then I got pink paint, you got blue paint, and we
green,
go.
pink,
And it's
blue,
like you get 3 shots. Where do your marks land?
So it's kind of like a modified version of Game of Quad.
No, it's like quad darts.
Yeah, no, it's pin the tail on the donkey.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's ideal.
Pin the tail on the bando.
There you
Oh
go.
man, perfect. Always up for useful drone games.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like fun too.
It's hard to come up with good drone games.
Yeah, I don't know why we don't just go and play the games again, because a lot of them are fun enough to do it. Like the drone foot race should totally be done again with tiny whoops.
Yeah, because it was a little bit.
It was
dangerous.
sketch as hell. Do not do that. Oh my god.
So for
That
people
is one of the few times that I've been terrified. I totally cheated because I got to a point where like I was walking and you still can hear the quads.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I can tell that nobody's doing anything weird, nobody's going too fast or scaring me, but I was coming out of the building blindfolded and I can hear a drone directly in front of me.
Yeah.
But the FPV feed that I have shows me and not what is in front of me. And I'm like, there's a quad here. If I walk forward, I'm going to walk into a drone. He probably can't see me. I'm kind of scared. And so I like peek out of the goggles and it's Steele's quad 90 degrees to me. So he's like, you know, looking at his guy that's walking, doesn't even know that I'm there because I'm outside of his field of view.
Yeah.
And if I keep walking, I'll just walk into him and like, all right, I'm going to cheat and walk around the quad.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was just
So
sketch.
So for the people that haven't seen that episode, go into a little bit about what that like. How did that come up, and what was it?
The person, I think that was one of Bardwell's ideas. He does come up
Really?
with a few good ideas.
Wow.
Man, that sounds like no.
That-
That is not meant to be derogatory. Josh comes up with a lot of good ideas, but I believe that one came out of him.
It seems more sketch than I would expect him to.
Well,
suggest.
that's the thing, is that nobody thought it would be all that sketch. We're all like, we can keep it within reason. Like,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
trust everybody. Make sure that you always know where all the walkers are and don't do anything weird. And then it became, by the end of it, like, I realized that if I put my drone between my guy and all the guys behind him, they can't pass the drone. So it's like,
Dang, just cheating.
it's not
Wow.
cheating. It's like, it's obvious strategy, but it's a little sketch.
Man,
Funny.
that's hilarious.
Yeah. So,
Taking advantage of the rules.
I mean, we didn't say you couldn't.
Strategy, man.
Dude, that was the day I broke my rib. That was a painful
You
day.
broke a
Oh,
rib.
man.
Oh my god. I think I did. I didn't get x-rays.
They don't do anything. For
I
you,
know. They're going to be like,
Here's
at
something-
best, they're like, you broke a rib. If I had started coughing, like I had pneumonia or anything weird,
Yeah.
then I obviously would have gone. But there was no bruising, no sign of anything. It's just like, that really hurts.
Did you fall down? What happened?
Yeah, I totally fell down. It was me yucking it up for the camera, and we were doing an episode on gaps that day as well. And I pretended that I had a divining rod. Do you know what that is, Tidwell?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, y'all are southern enough to know what a divining rod is. It's the stick that the guy pretends to find the water
Yeah.
with.
Or the oil or the,
Yeah, and like there's an art form to really knowing how to do that, and
Right.
there is an art form in fooling people that are paid to be smarter than you that no, motherfucker, dig over here.
Right.
Right.
And that's my personal belief. But anyway, so I was messing around with pretending like I had a divining rod for finding the gaps in the park. And it came to, I was like, oh, and there's this kind of gap and this kind of gap, and I'm like getting it to pull me, in directions. And I was like, oh, the only knife edge is like way the hell over there, so I gotta really commit to it. And I yank it like so hard that like I know it's gonna pull me off balance and I'm gonna have to run to catch my feet underneath me, you know. And but the problem was there was a sidewalk that was raised a little bit beside of me, and so my foot caught the sidewalk and I just went down hard. And I tried to tuck, but it was already so tilted that, you know, like when I tried to tuck, it basically just shoved my ribs harder into the sidewalk.
That doesn't sound fun.
No, it wasn't. It hurt.
Who laughed at you? when that happened?
Everybody laughed at me. I laughed at my ass. There wasn't nothing to do but laugh at it.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
what else? Awesome. All right. Well, we want to wrap it up.
Sure.
Sounds good, man.
Okay.
I
Well,
had fun. Thanks for coming, Kevin.
yeah. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not even that late, really.
No,
It's
that's why I was
only
like,
8:30, but we're thankful that you were able to come out. Thanks for coming out to my humble abode, and
dude, it's an awesome place. Thanks for having me. Thanks for filming my build video for me.
yeah, it was a
Man
lot
in
of
the
fun.
camera.
That's right. Just drop a link or something. No, you don't have to do that. But thanks for coming by, Kevin. We've definitely, you're our first big name guest, and that's quite a guest.
Thanks
to
for
me,
calling me
sure.
a big name.
Totally a big
Yeah,
name.
you are, dude.
Yeah, you're awesome.
Oh.
And
Thanks for coming.
I think Kevin and I both, Tidwell and I both, we've learned so much from you, Kevin. It's definitely really a privilege to have you hanging out with us, and we know that so many people out there learn a ton from you.
Thanks, man.
Just wanted to say thank you so much for all the awesome stuff that you do for the community and for the hobby. You do a lot, way more than you probably think, and I know how hard you work for it, and it means a lot.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Awesome. So thanks again for everybody for joining in. If you're still here with us, thank you for watching to the end, and make sure that you click on that little subscribe button if you haven't.
It's over there.
It's up. Is it? No, it's over. It's over there. It's over there somewhere.
It's
I don't know.
Jeff knows where it is.
I'll find out, and I'll put it up on there. But make sure that you do that, and tell your friends. Don't keep us a secret, because secrets die hard, and we don't want to do that. Especially because we got all these nice, fancy microphone stands. I mean, check this out. This is really cool.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere, y'all. Jeff's invested.
I invested. Okay, so I bled for you guys.
We're gonna make some shows.
We're gonna make some great shows. These are nice microphone stands.
Hopefully you like it. If not, we don't care.
Yeah, we won't not make episodes.
Check. It's like, is it not? It's not stereo. No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Is mine?
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
No, I don't think so.
Hello.
No, mine's just a shotgun mic. So.
Hello.
But so it's just going to point at me. But
I kind of like it like that. Hello. Can you hear me now?
we'll be back again soon.
This is Tidwell saying, peace out, y'all.
That's right.